Important notice: the following content may be triggering. Viewer discretion is advised. All discussions are based on personal opinions and experiences. If you or someone you know needs help, please reach out to a local support organization. Important notice: the following content may be triggering.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Through the Eyes of Survivors. It's a podcast by Break the Silence Against Domestic Violence. I'm your host, Tara Woodlee, and today we're diving into a form of abuse that doesn't always leave bruises, but it does leave deep scars: financial abuse. It's one of the most isolating and controlling forms of domestic violence. Yet it's the least recognized. So, why? Because it hides behind everyday decisions, right? The paychecks you never see, the accounts you can't access, the career you had to give up, or the credit that's been decimated without your knowledge. So, financial abuse traps survivors in silence and dependency. It limits our options. It erodes self worth. It makes leaving feeling just totally impossible. And yet, for so many, it remains an invisible prison, even for those living in it. But before we get into that issue with my guest, Midori Davidson, I want to just quickly here let you know about our affiliates. So we have some wonderful affiliates. The first one, woo, you got somebody there, Midori.
Listen, when life and people at the same time, and
Yeah,
we don't even have a motorcycle fest this weekend. Like, this is ridiculous.
I hear you. Our affiliate, Truth Finder. I want to take a quick moment to talk about something you can use to really empower you in your journey towards safety and healing. It's called Truth Finder. It's a simple tool that helps you uncover public records and background information about people you may encounter in your life. Whether you're reconnecting with someone from your past or just want to ensure the people around you are trustworthy, Truth Finder provides you with that information you need to make informed decisions. So here at Through the Eyes of Survivors, we're all about creating safe spaces and giving survivors the tools they need to reclaim their power. And that's why we're excited to share Truth Finder with you. It's a tool that helps you take control of your own security and peace of mind. So try it out. The link will be below. And every time you sign up for Truth Finder. If you do that, you're helping to support our mission because um, we get part of the sign up fee for that, and it helps support survivors. Another quick one is Opus Clips. So if you're a content creator, you want to take long form content like what we're doing now and turn it into viral clips. Opus Clip is the way we use it here at Break the Silence. It's a fantastic tool. That link is also in the comment section. If you sign up and use our link, you help support survivors there as well. And yeah, and before we get started as well, real quick, we want to let you know yesterday we did a special podcast about our partnership with Fight Camp and how physical exercising and stuff can help you heal. So we are doing another today giveaway of from Fight Camp. We have a special surprise for you with this. So if anyone who comments in today's podcast in the comment section from no matter where you're listening, as long as you're in the United States, we're going to give away to one lucky winner receive a Fight Camp starter kit to kick off your journey to strength and healing through movement. So if you're here live with us, drop a comment in below, say hello, share whatever resonates with you the most while we're in here in the podcast, and we'll engage with you as well. Um, so my guest here is Midori Davidson. If you have not seen her before, she is our vice chairwoman, the powerhouse between two of our most critical programs here at Break the Silence. She helped create Grants of Hope, which provides financial relief to survivors, and she also helped create our support line, which connects those in crisis compassionate, informed help. And Midori knows firsthand the importance of economic independence and the joy
Hello,
of it. So, yes,
here I am. I got kicked off and I'm back on.
that's okay. She's back in. I'm just introducing you anyway. So,
Oh, let me see.
um,
Can we hear
there are
me?
so many who suffer in
Let's go
silence.
back.
And,
Oh,
we're going to talk about how survivors can reclaim that
can you hear
control.
me out there? Hello?
We can hear you.
No.
You hear us, Midori?
Let's do this again.
She might have to reconnect. So our lovely Amanda will be helping her back in the background there as we're getting connected. So Miss Midori will be right back. So we're talking about financial abuse as she comes in. So that's a very hot topic today, and so many victims definitely have experienced financial abuse, right? Um, so when Miss Midori comes back in, we're going to talk about that subject here. But until then, until we get her in, I'd love to hear from some of you. Have you experienced financial abuse? What kind of forms have you experienced, right? Share that in the comment with us. I know I've personally gone through financial abuse to where I wasn't allowed to have a job, right? And coming out of that through my divorce was definitely eye opening. Towards the end of our marriage, we ended up where I did get a job, and it caused a lot of stress. And during that time, abuse escalated because I knew I had to have a job in order to get out, right? And I hear that kind of a horror story all over all the time. So definitely is something that people deal with all the time. Um, and if you're dealing with something like that, we'd love to hear from you. Absolutely. Uh, and I guess we're still technically getting Miss Midori in. So I'm just keep on talking. Um, so I know I had not experienced the fact of where I didn't have access to the accounts. A lot of people have that kind of experience, but my credit was decimated. And in my journey, I had to learn what credit was and how it worked and how to regain my freedom by going in and redoing my credit. That was something that was a very big eye opener, learning how to regain my independence through my credit worthiness. There was a lot of, there were times that small loans and stuff were taken out without my knowledge. And then credit cards were put in my name and not paid back. Uh, that was something that definitely was an eye opener after my divorce to find out all that knowledge and what I had to do with that. So, uh, part of my healing was not just learning how to regain some independence and figure out my credit and get that resolved, but I started helping to teach other people regain their credit worthiness and what they need to do to clean up their credit and have that resolved, because that can be such a big hindrance, especially nowadays, in just even applying for housing or applying, uh, let alone for a job. Some jobs do credit background checks now. So it's something that is essential and key, and so many of us experience that. Um, so I know from my own experience that was part of what went on, financially, for what I had experienced. So I would love to hear in the comments if anybody's watching what their experiences were, that if they'd like to share. Don't forget, every time you comment, you get entered into our free giveaway from Fight Camp. If you don't know what Fight Camp is, let me just give you a brief description real quick. Fight Camp um, is think of it like the Peloton of boxing. So they have this boxing equipment. What you're going to receive in the free giveaway is the wraps for your hands, the monitors for instruction, and then a 45-day free trial to all their teaching and instructors and that kind of thing over their app. And they are just really dedicated into helping victims of domestic violence be able to heal through movement and stuff. So if you would like an opportunity to win that today, please be sure to enter into the comments. They were very lovely in helping us by giving us that kind of a gift to give to y'all today. So please be sure uh, to comment so that you can win today. We'll announce it here at the end. Of course, you have to be in the US as well. So, unfortunately, Miss Midori is still out. So I guess I'm still going to keep winging it for you. But, I talked in the monologue at the beginning about financial abuse as one of the more silent and most powerful forms of control. And there is Miss Midori. Is she back now?
Hello.
Yay. All right. So you're back now? Awesome.
It looks like it.
Okay. Technical difficulties there. So thank you, everybody who's stuck with us while we're waiting for Midori to come back in. Midori, I know from your situation, I was talking about mine a little bit while you were out, but talk to us about what financial abuse exactly is from your experience, and how you've had your money monitored and frozen and stolen in a relationship.
So, first of all, thank you all for tuning in. Um, I do apologize for the little technical glitches there, so I appreciate you all being so patient. With financial abuse, what it basically is control or manipulation over your victim by means of money. And it comes in many forms. So it could very well be that your paycheck gets stolen and you never see it because your spouse has all of your money. As a matter of fact, when we started Grants of Hope, when myself and another young lady created it, one of our first members among the group of women that we had for Grants of Hope, she was beautiful, not a scratch on her, not even a bruise sighting or anything. But when we were selecting candidates for Grants of Hope, we had to do an intake asset access form.
Mm-hmm.
And we just wanted to find out what they were working with, basically, what their income was on an annual basis so that we know exactly how to cater to them. And she couldn't tell me.
Mm-hmm.
And when I looked at her application, I wanted to make sure I was reading it right. So I said, okay, so you are a PhD candidate for grant writing, and you work for this university, but you can't tell me what your annual income is, right? I just want to make sure I'm reading this right. I'm just making sure I'm looking at this information correctly. No judgment here. And she was like, no, ma'am, because I don't see my check. My husband got my income.
Yes.
Whenever the direct deposit came from my job, it went straight to his check. It went straight to his checking account. So I did not even receive a check stub. I don't know how much I make on an annual basis. And that floored me.
Oh, yeah. But that's so
And when you look at financial abuse, even within my situation, my bank account was so red, it looked like a mess of spaghetti sauce every week because money was going in, but it wasn't coming into my hands. And come to find out, my ex fiance, who is this licensed ordained minister, stole my bank card and was taking his congregants out to dinner talking about it was Bible study. But at Olive Garden, so you're going to discuss the book of Peter over tiramisu at Olive Garden without me, that you're using my bank card. So financial abuse again has many different scenarios, but the ultimate objective is to keep you bound and dependent on them because anytime you're being manipulated and controlled into a situation and money is involved, it is because they need you and not the other way around. But that's where the gaslighting also becomes visible and also intertwined because they're going to make you think that it's your fault, that you caused this mayhem, that you caused the money supply to become low. But how can you cause a situation that you did not even know was being created?
right.
Case in point, the young lady whose check was going to her husband's bank account. How can you be blamed for something that you've never seen? Yet it was her fault if he didn't have enough gas. It was her fault if there wasn't enough groceries. And see, this kind of financial manipulation and abuse can go off into many different tracks. Not just domestic violence, not just sexual assault, but now we're looking at sex trafficking. We're looking at prostitution. You know,
Yeah.
I will never forget when I attended a human trafficking conference. It was 5 years ago. It was during COVID, and it was all, through the internet. I met a young lady from St. Louis whose grandparents sold her into prostitution at the age of 12 because they did not have enough Medicare to raise her. They barely had enough to take care of themselves. And now they're having to raise a grandchild. So when she turned 12, they sold her, or quote unquote leased her out into prostitution to make extra money. She became a hustle.
Mm.
And I have seen that before. And when we look at financial abuse, we're going to look at the overall trajectory of what depression is. By definition, depression is anger turned inward. So
Yes.
if nothing outwardly is helping you get ahead financially, that anger then turns inward and you're going to hurt the very people who are closest to you.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the essential of financial abuse. I mean, it's a subject matter that you can really break into many different realms of domestic violence.
Yes. Oh, we lost her again. Well, she's correct. You can break it into many different forms of domestic violence. That is for sure. Because it's not something that leaves bruises, right? So, it involves every decision basically you're making or allowed to be made, or every dollar um, that has forced you to be accountable for, or denied altogether that was even there sometimes. So um, it's one more waiting for Midori to come back in. It kind of looks and sounds like uh, you don't need to work, I'll take care of you, right? Or like you're trapped in a life where the only way out is money that you don't have, credit you don't know has been ruined, resources basically that has been cut off from you. It's very strategic and calculated, and often the reason survivors can't just leave um, and be in a safe place, because it, it feels like that safety and everything is dependent. It's dependent upon those finances. So it's really, like Midori was saying, manipulative for sure. There is a whole lot of gaslighting that goes along with it. And I agree with Audrey in here in the comments. It's very calculated. Always, always. It is calculated. It's it's more of a precision type of weapon used against us, right? Instead of the how physical uh things can be just so brutal and out of control. This is very precise, very calculated, very planned, and it shows a type of manipulation that you cannot you can't just gloss over it and wipe it away. There's really no excuses that you can put for it, because it's blatant. Uh, it's very blatant in nature. So, and it is meant to make you feel trapped. And that is for sure. And what's worse, most people don't even realize it's happening until the damage is totally done. And the control is disguised as care. That's kind of what I'm looking at. So it's totally disguised as they care for you, they love you, they're taking care of you. And before you know it, it has turned into something where you have no control whatsoever, and they control your total future. And this is different from a loving relationship, that is for sure. So, we're definitely talking about it today, and we're naming it uh, because financial abuse definitely hides in the silence, right? Um, and we give survivors the power to recognize that and reclaim it here through the podcast. So please, again, like if you are interacting with us, I would love to hear your stories and share with us. Remember, every comment enters you into the drawing. Um, but in the meantime, we're at a point of being able to take a mid break real quick. Um, and hopefully, Midori will be back by the time we come back from this break. So, we're going to right now go to um, how you can make a difference right now. So if you visit our BTS ADV store and shop with us with a purchase, every purchase supports our programs like.
We hope you're enjoying this episode of Through the Eyes of Survivors. We wanted to pause for a moment and let you know that Through the Eyes of Survivors,
These critical resources for those breaking free from abuse. It's empowering type of apparel. Definitely go look at it. Meaningful gifts that you can wear. So check out our store, BTSADV .org/store. And thank you for standing with survivors. And we'll be right back to talk more about financial abuse.
we hope you're enjoying this episode of Through the Eyes of Survivors. We wanted to pause for a moment and let you know that Through the Eyes of Survivors has a shop now open. And this is a great way for you to not only help survivors of domestic violence, but also let everyone know that you will not be silent about this important cause. From t-shirts to bags to coffee mugs, we have so much to choose from. To grab your swag, head to our store at breakthesilencedv.org. That's store.breakthesilencedv.org. We can't say enough about how much we appreciate all that the community does to help support us and this organization. So we hope you've enjoyed this episode and continue to subscribe to future episodes. Thank you.
All right. So we are back. And briefly, please, thank you for supporting us. This podcast has been a little unusual for sure. Before we get back to the topic of financial abuse, I want to also let everybody know about a fantastic fundraiser we're doing here, but it's really an opportunity. We have partnered with She TV. If you had seen the interview from one of our previous episodes, they have done a fantastic job um, on a movie, on a film called Scars Unseen, right? So we are doing a movie night. So it's definitely something to watch. Scars Unseen will be premiering June 6th. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You'll be able to watch it from the comfort of your own home. You can purchase your ticket in the links in the description and comments. It is definitely worth seeing. It's definitely really powerful. And you get to watch a great virtual movie um, and help support us by watching that. It sheds light on the realities of domestic violence, and it's more than just a movie, it's a movement. So, tickets will be available in the link below, so secure your spot. And in addition to that, also, um, with the movie night, we're kicking off our Little Caesars fundraiser that same day. So you can grab delicious pizza kits to help support our mission from Little Caesars as well and feed your family. So that's a big win, dinner and a movie, right? Your participation helps raise funds and awareness for us. And also, if you're in Colorado, Lazy Dog Restaurant is holding a fundraiser for us as well. So if you order food from them, those links will all be in there. And those are some great ways you can help support us here at Break the Silence. So we appreciate you listening in. So let's get back to our topic with financial abuse. So, I guess we have not been able to get Miss Midori back in. So I'm just going to keep talking about it with you. And I hope you'll definitely comment in any of your experiences or what you think about financial abuse as well. Um, so let's explore some of the other things some ways people maybe can control your access to your money. If a partner demands to see every receipt, you might have access to the bank account, but you have to account for every receipt, maybe that you are, for every dime that you're spending. Or, like I said, I had someone who took out a credit card in my name and ruined my credit score for sure. And, that kind of thing just is, it's weaponized care, right? When they do all that and they wrap it in this, you don't need a job, I'll take care of you. Sometimes it's being given an allowance from your paycheck. It can look like that. Or being blocked from opening even a bank account. Or how about pursuing school? You know, to me, it's very chilling to know that financial abuse happens in up to 99% of domestic violence cases. So that means nearly every survivor out there has also had their financial freedom stolen from them. Let me say that again. Almost every survivor. You are not alone in that. And it's not just about money. It's about control and dependence and power. It's about making sure you can't leave. And you can't leave without facing homelessness. That's the fear that they instill in you and inbreed in you. And let's throw in kids in that, right? You can't leave without losing your kids because you don't have the economic freedom to support your children. Not without starting totally over again. And that's a real insidious part of this as well. Because you don't have the financial freedom you feel to be able to support your own children. And I know I was there for sure. You're not alone in that. I had to, like I said, get a job. So I knew I could get out. And I knew I could support my children. And that's just par for the course for survivors victims of domestic violence who having to experience that. So let's talk about why survivors don't talk about that. So, uh, why don't we hear more about financial abuse, right? Um, well, let's start with the system doesn't recognize it. it, it they get shamed for not being responsible or independent. In fact, you're being manipulated and blocked at every turn because talking about money is taboo, isn't it? Because you're told you're lucky. That person is taking care of everything for you, so you should be happy about that, right? Um, and you start to believe it because you hear that from other people. Oh, he takes such good care of you. He's such a good provider, but they don't know what's happening in the background. And sometimes it's just a matter of survival in those moments that we just stay quiet. And by staying quiet, we're not escalating into abuse itself. So we don't bring up those financial money matters, right? Oh, is Miss Midori back in?
Yes, I've been let back in. We've been fighting, but I'm back in.
It's almost like fighting for your financial freedom, ain't it?
Right.
The struggle is
This is just
real.
reminiscent of my own financial freedom experience.
Oh Lord, lady. That's okay. I've been holding my own, so we've been okay. But
Yeah.
let's get back into it. So, let me see. I know I had some more questions I definitely wanted to ask you in here. Um, so, Midori, Midori, why do you think survivors, we're talking about survivors staying silent about financial abuse and control and the reasons that they have to, like I was talking about, that that you it keeps it from escalating, right? So why do you think, we stay silent so much over this financial control when it devastates so much of our lives?
And I totally get your question. And what I would say, in terms of my own experience, is that you don't tell people because you don't want, like, you're just absolutely so stupid that you can't manage your own bank account, um, which is totally not the case. But that's the gaslighting that's coming into play
Hmm.
about your money that's being taken from you, but you're too stupid to notice.
Right.
It's your fault that all of this calamity is happening. So you can't speak to financial abuse if you're being gaslighted into not noticing it.
Right. No, I agree. And I was discussing some of that earlier, um, while you were gone. So, what steps can someone take if they're ready to break free from financial abuse and they don't have access to resources? I know you took some pretty interesting steps in the beginning when you told me your story.
Yeah, I started hiding my money. I would actually hide it in places that he would not think to look, like laundry detergent bottles, tampon containers, shampoo bottles, even medicines that I know he wouldn't touch. I would hide money there. Um, I even had a friend show me how to hide money in my tires. So anything that I needed to do to plot my escape, that's where I started hiding money because it was out of control. And plus, my ex fiance was an alcoholic. So I really took extra measures in hiding money then to
Right.
just even think about escape. That's what I had to do.
Mm. Oh, I,
And another thing that I would suggest, you know, if you're in a place where you can't forge your escape plan, if you work out of the home, go to the bank and talk to a counselor there. Because that was another thing that helped me understand how to balance what I had. Was I actually went inside of a bank and I lied to my ex saying that I had to go to the store, but I really went to the bank also just to take a look at my account because it was my only checking account. I needed to know what I could do to break even, or if I was going to break even, what I needed to do. And the really cool thing about going inside of a bank, there's no judgment.
right.
If you're transparent about where you are, there are people there who can really help you.
Yeah,
And then
absolutely.
lastly, I would say forge a support system. If you have really good friends who are not friends with your abuser, let them know what you're trying to do. And if you got to hide money at their house, hide it at their house, but let them in
Mm-hmm.
because that was the key to my escape, also.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. So, um, so let's talk about the fact that a lot of people feel like that they're somehow stupid for letting this happen to them. And I was telling the audience it's 99% of survivors have experienced some sort of financial abuse along with physical abuse. So that is the majority of
Absolutely. Or they have experienced financial abuse with no physical abuse at
it.
all. The
Exactly.
abuse is mental. The abuse is mental and manipulative. You also have financial abuse where women, they may not have been beaten, but they were sexually assaulted, raped, going into prostitution because they were with men who told them they owed them some kind of way.
Oh, yeah.
Yet it was them who was taking from them all along. Because the key operative in financial abuse is indeed gaslighting,
Hmm.
because gaslighting is the distraction. Gaslighting is the distracting factor that causes the chaos and it causes you to not pay attention to them. But now you're inside your own head thinking that, wow, either I did this or somehow I caused this to happen or none of it makes any sense. And I got to problem solve now. And when
Yeah.
all along it wasn't you. Yeah. So that's what's so intriguing about financial abuse is because you can't discuss that without discussing the gaslighting in between.
Hmm.
And a lot of us have no clue as to what gaslighting is.
Absolutely.
So, for those of you who don't know what gaslighting is, it is a tool that's used, a psychological tool that's used to manipulate the reality that you're in. For example, with financial abuse, they already took $200 out of your checking account. But then they ask you, hey, honey, can I borrow $200? You go to the account and you see it's already in the red. Well,
Hmm.
how could you let it go in the red? You know I need money. But you see that 200 is already gone. So now the question becomes, did I take the $200? Let me look in my purse. Wallet. When you never touched it.
Right.
They already took it. They're playing with you and they're playing with your mind now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It is a mind game. And Audrey was saying earlier in the comments how calculated it was. That's very
Very,
calculated. Hmm.
very. Like it's all about timing. She's absolutely right.
Yeah. And I think that a big way that we're seeing um, financial abuse play out today in society is that case with P. Diddy and Cassie, because
Oh
that
my
one is
God.
just so blatant, right? What
Yes.
what he did to her financially. We're not talking about physically, just financially, what he did
Just
to her.
financially. How he roped her into his web, if you will. He promised her a 10 recording contract deal, a
Yeah,
10 album contract deal, and only one was done.
there,
So,
and
how do
that's
you discuss the others?
hmm
Through his freak offs.
right. The
And she said
manipulation.
that in court.
Hmm.
And that's a perfect example of financial manipulation. How can she make her money without him?
Hmm.
What can I get or what can I do to keep her entangled to me? Because at this point, when you look at his overall structure, financial structure, business structure, he needs her
Yes.
because he doesn't have any other artists. He needs her.
Hmm.
So you construct this deal, if you will, and nothing takes off but one album, but it's supposed to be a 10 album recording contract deal. Insane. Insane. And
Yes.
then when she calls him out on it, when she tries to push or press the issue, now you're starting to see violence because what he did in that hotel lobby was just despicable.
Hmm. And it correlates to exactly what we deal with day in and day out today. So,
Yes, it
like
does.
you're saying, sometimes financial abuse is you don't work, but sometimes it's you go out and work and you give me every dime and I control every
That's right.
matter of what is going on.
Yep.
You know,
And you don't get to say where it goes, even though you're doing the work. You don't get to say
right.
anything about your own money.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. It's really insidious how that is manipulated the way it is.
Oh,
Absolutely.
absolutely. I used to hear all the time, "Oh, I don't deserve you. You have a degree and I feel so beneath you. How can I make this right so that we can build together?" And it was hogwash. Nothing but hogwash.
Hmm. No, no, totally is. And it can continue even after you're out of the abuse. I'll say that because even
Yes.
in my own experiences, I have been divorced from that man some 22, 23 years. And I'm still to this day getting phone calls where he listed me as a reference for some loan or even listed me as his employer for some loan, and they're calling wanting to find out how that's going to get paid, and
Oh
I'm
my
not
God.
even
So it never ends.
mm-mm. No, that kind of
It never ends.
that
And
kind of abuse
that is
goes
where it just makes you feel like, God, I can never escape you, no matter how hard I try, no matter what I do. I mean, do I have to change my name at this point?
on. Hmm. Well, I've changed my name. I
Because
married somebody else. I've changed my name. I've changed my number. And
Right.
they
And they
still,
still find you.
hmm
But what I've also come to understand about that is 90% of it is also attachment, because even though you left, mentally they did not. So they're going to find a way to negatively attach themselves to you, especially when they find that no one else wants to be bothered. No one else has any dealings with them, whether it's business or personal. So it's like this crab trying to find something to attach themselves to, and it never ends.
oh, yeah, that's just crazy. Evidently,
But
we're
the
getting
key
a
to
lot of,
surviving all of that is just having a good support system and
mhm.
just being realistic about the situation itself, and even why they're continuing to do that, and then learn how to put some safety measures and boundaries in place so they can't disrupt what you've rebuilt, because really with financial abuse you have to rebuild.
Yes, absolutely. And I wanted to let everyone know, our producer let us know that evidently the Facebook comments are not coming up on my scroll thing, but she is over there monitoring you for the giveaway. We're sorry we're not being able to see you and engage you. Over here with that. So definitely some online stuff going on with our platform, but do rest assured Amanda is in the background getting you registered for the giveaway. So please be sure to go ahead and put your comments in. Um, we're here to support you, and she's in there engaging with you as we speak. So we appreciate Amanda in the
Absolutely, because
background.
one thing, even though we are survivors of such horrific experiences, the beauty of the ashes is that we can all support one another from the fall, because there's beauty in rebuilding. There's beauty in the ashes, because you made it to where you can tell your truth. I was just having this conversation with someone whose husband beat her so bad he tried to bury her in their backyard because he thought she was dead. And I told her, I said, there's beauty in the ashes, even with your knee surgery, because he beat her knees inward. You made it out to tell your story. So please share in the comments. We'd love to hear from you and engage with you, because this is real stuff. And we want you to know that this is a safe space where you can talk and hash those things out for sure.
Yeah, I pulled up the Facebook on my phone just real quick so that I can see some of the comments in here. Just quickly.
Okay.
So, definitely like thank you. I want to say her name is it Frances? Frances Johnson? Definitely it's both mental and emotional, she says. And she has a ministry called Women Against Narcissistic Abuse. Well, we applaud that, Francis. Thank
Hello.
you so much.
And
Definitely.
some finger snaps on that one.
Yes, yes. So and of course my sweet husband Jim is in here making some great comments over there in Facebook as well.
Hey,
Um
brother.
yes. He said hi to you in here at one point. And he's been interacting, so definitely. We appreciate everybody over there in Facebook who's been interacting with us. We're sorry we couldn't see all your comments during the broadcast here. So, Midori, we're getting close to the closing. Do you have some wrapping up stuff you want to say about with financial abuse? Some things you want the listeners to definitely know from your experience?
So, just from my experience, again, making sure that you have a support system is critical, because It's not your fault that your finances aren't where they are if you are dealing with a narcissist who's an abuser. He's going to distract you, or even she, they will distract you with gaslighting. Gaslighting is the caveat here
Mm-hmm.
that will cause the abuse to spiral. And another thing, don't be afraid to go inside of a bank and ask questions. That's how I learned where my card was being used. Because back then we didn't have mobile apps. Cellular phone usage was archaic at best. It was all mobile, GSM data, no smartphones. Steve Jobs didn't hit his invention yet. So I had to go inside of a bank to ask questions. I had to get some clues. And sometimes I had to beg to buy one because my account was so red.
Yeah.
And I was very fortunate for Wells Fargo to extend me grace and really sit down with me to let me know the truth. And those conversations are hard to have, but
Mm-hmm.
be open to them because those are going to be tools that help you escape. They're also going to be tools to help you navigate through this experience until you leave. So
Yes.
be open to the tough conversations.
Yes, we've got a few other comments I'd love to just touch on here. We have one over in Facebook. She says he made her hand over the whole paycheck and sold her son, made her sell her son's PlayStation. That's the kind
Oh,
of stuff
man.
that makes me so angry. Yeah.
Ah,
And Laura said my ex threatened to bury her, where she wouldn't be found. And the police told her there was nothing they could do unless she recorded it, but yet it she'd get in trouble if she recorded it where she lives.
mm,
Mm.
you know, that reminds me of this was around the time when American Idol was still early
Yeah.
in its broadcast. And I was sitting down to watch it one night and I heard this young lady scream through my kitchen wall, "Help me."
Yes, you told me.
And I'm looking at the TV and I'm like, it's not coming through my TV. Am I tripping? And then I heard the voice again, except it got louder. So I grabbed my little cheap cell phone and I crawled into my closet and called 911 to report whatever was going on next door to me. And when I told the officer, I'm hearing this lady yell for help through my kitchen wall. And I'm trying to whisper because I don't want her situation to get worse. And I don't want him coming through my wall. She says to me, "Why are you whispering?" So that's when I snapped. I said, "Did you not hear one MFing word I said? There's a woman getting beat next door to me and she's yelling for help, and you're wanting to know why I'm whispering? If I could hear her through my kitchen wall, he might be hearing me call you right now, fool."
I'm telling you.
Hello? Oh, okay, okay. No, there's no okay. Send somebody over here ASAP before she dies. The cops finally get there. Of course, he was long gone, but her face was so swollen and bloody. And her mother was Spanish. She couldn't speak much English, but she recognized me enough to say, "You call police for help?" And I said, "Yes." And she said, "Thank you. My daughter almost died
Mm-hmm.
if not for you." So sometimes push through the fear and get help
Mm-hmm.
because not only are you saving your life, you might be saving somebody else's.
Yes.
because I lived in that kind of neighborhood where that was frequent.
Hmm. Yes.
And that's the sick part,
Oh, yeah. I
you
agree.
know. And I think that's why our new campaign, Run for Her, is so important, because now we're putting these issues, so to speak, on blast.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. And the comments they're expressing that the system really doesn't help or doesn't care. And I
Oh,
agree.
I can relate to that.
Mhm.
I'm still dealing with the residual from the system. My mother disappeared 41 years ago when I was 14 years old. My family was told that a missing persons report would be filed, would have been filed, but it never was. So 41 years later, we're still trying to figure out what happened to my mother.
Mhm.
She's nowhere listed on the missing persons database. So believe me, I understand how you feel about the system. I have some nice words to say about the system too.
Yes. Well.
But we have to use whatever we have to propel the wrongs
Mm,
and speak out against the wrongs, because what people within the system want you to do is let it go.
yeah.
Don't do that. Use your rights within the system to speak up and speak out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we're coming up where our hour has gone by pretty quickly. It did feel like it at first when
Oh,
I
isn't
had
that
to do it
fun?
here on my
Have
own.
it
But
dealing with technical glitches. Isn't
yes,
that fun?
it is so fun. But in closing, I'd say financial abuse definitely it's real, it's devastating, and Midori is powerfully reminded us that there is a way out, right? Through awareness, support, tangible resources, survivors can begin to rebuild their lives with dignity and safety and with hope. So, if this episode is
And
moved,
willpower.
yeah,
Gotta have the will.
yeah, if this episode's moved you, don't let the conversation end here. Support our work today by donating to our programs. Your contributions help survivors take their first steps towards financial freedom. And if you're ready to stand with us in action, consider volunteering. We would love to have some more new volunteers. All our positions are remote.
Absolutely.
There is a place for you here. We are survivors supporting survivors here. So if you want to donate or volunteer, visit our website, btsadv.org. Follow us across our social media platforms. And now I'm going to see if Miss Amanda has for us who won. Oh, excuse me. Who won our drawing for the fight camp giveaway? And okay, yes, she
Yay.
does. Frances Johnson, you won the giveaway. So please message us in the DMs. Amanda will get with you and tell you how to get your free gift. So congratulations, Frances.
Yay, Francis. Woohoo.
Yay. So um,
And when you get your fight kick bag decorated with your ex's face, and when you want to punch something, punch it.
yeah, yes,
Yeah.
definitely. Oh, so
It's therapeutic.
there you go. Um, and in conclusion, also, we want to tell you about our Run for Her. Our Run for Her is coming up, happens every July. We run for angels lost to domestic violence, but also we run for us survivors and we run for those who haven't been able to escape yet. So, registration will start here in June. June 1st, we're opening up registration and we're running all through the month of July. So check out our website there. It's the word run with the number 4, her challenges. We've got some great stuff over there if you register and help fundraise. Every mile that you do helps raise awareness. Every dollar that you raise helps us to support our programs, but especially our scholarship program coming up. So we would love your support on that. And we're going to close out with a video giving you more information on the run for her. And until next time, definitely stay safe and break your silence.
She left with nothing but a backpack, her child, and a deep desire to rewrite her story. Starting over isn't easy, but for survivors of domestic violence going back to school, it's everything. It's healing. It's freedom. It's power, but most of all, it's hope. That's why we created the Run For Her Scholarship Program, to help survivors rise and to honor the women and children who never got that chance. Each step you take this July helps fund education for survivors, turning pain into purpose, and every dollar raised carries the name of someone we've lost. Her name won't be forgotten. Her life will lift another woman toward her future. Lace up, fundraise, change a life, run for her so she can run toward tomorrow. The Run For Her Challenge, scholarships, survivors, stories that live on.